Hey, what's up everyone? In this video we're going to look at the main slate for Wednesday. We got a 6-game main slate starting at 7 o'clock. Also have an early slate today, so it should be a fun day of baseball. Let's get right into it. You can drop a like and subscribe before we get started. At pitcher on this main slate, you have a couple of good options at the top in Kershaw, who is pretty expensive here. 11.8 is a pretty high price tag for him. He's been pitching really well as of late. You're not getting much more than 100 pitches out of him. That seems like where he's capped at. And you don't really blame the Dodgers, who want to save his arm for the playoffs. I think it's a good play at 11.8. You're kind of maximizing that price tag, and you get that 30-point upside with him. And then I think Nola, I'm not going to have that much interest in him. I think Hamels is a good play. The Phillies are terrible against lefties, as Quintana just mowed them down today. I think they had over a dozen strikeouts. Quintana had at least 12 strikeouts. Against the Phillies yesterday, he might have had more. Kind of turned the game off after the 12th. But 9,300 for Hamels. He's been a little limited, which is a little concerning. He's only his third start back. But I think it's still a good play. The price tag is pretty fair. I love Marco Gonzalez here, 8,700. He's been pitching really well. He's not overly expensive. The matchup is great against the Tigers. He just owned the Tigers back in July. Put up a 30 spot against them. Like, if he gets me a 30 and Kershaw gets me 35, I'd much rather have Gonzalez here. He's probably going to be a lot lower owned than Kershaw too, and he allows you to pay for some of the expensive bats we have on the slate. So I'll go with Gonzalez at 8,700. And then I kind of like Dakota Hudson here at just 6,000. He finally gets a good matchup against the Royals. The only struggle, Dakota Hudson's been really solid against righties. His struggles this year have come against lefties, and there's not much good lefty hitters, not very many good lefty hitters on this Royals team. They're pretty loaded with righties, with Soler, Dozier, Merrifield. This year against lefties, he's gotten hit hard with a 530 slugging, but against righties, he's been good. Just a 329 slugging given up. xFIP is just 4.04 against righties, and he's giving up has a 16.9% fly ball rate against righties. So those are all really good factors for me. Price tag is really appealing. He has some upside. Not a great with the strikeouts, but he can still get you 20 DraftKings points. If he goes like 6-7 innings, gets the win, gets a couple strikeouts, finally gets a good matchup after he's had a couple of brutal starts. Brutal matchups, Astros, A's, and the Pirates. They don't strike out much, so I like him against the Royals here at a 6,000 price. And today there are a couple offenses that really stick out. I think the Dodgers, all the Dodgers lefties are my favorites against Hernandez. I'll show you the splits for him. Love the Dodgers lefties. I love the Braves righties against Mats. Mats has always struggled against the Braves, and with the Braves playing at home, they always hit well at home. I like the Braves stack, and then I think a couple Mariners is probably a good play, although they're probably going to be popular, so I don't mind focusing on the Braves and Dodgers, whose offenses are much better than the Mariners, and they're definitely going to be chalk after the amount of runs they scored yesterday against Boyd. So we're looking at Alicia Hernandez's splits this year. He's gotten crushed against lefties. The Dodgers have so many good lefty hitters. I think their full stack of the Dodgers is definitely in play today. This year against lefties, he's given up a 611 slugging percentage with a 278 average. Been getting hit really hard against lefties. He has just a 17% strikeout rate. xFIP is 5.88. 42% fly ball rate and a 48% hard hit rate given up to lefties. So they all look really good. That's why we're going to start it off here at second base. Well, we're going to start off with the Braves here, and that's Ozzie Albies at 5,200. Albies has been on fire as of late. The Braves offense has been cooking. A couple of 30-point games for him recently. He's been really good with the double digits. A couple 20-point games. He has that GPP winning upside, and now he's really hot right now. And he's amazing against lefties. And Mats can definitely get blown up from time to time, and looks like Mats is due to get blown up here against the Braves. Albies this year, just like last season, has been crushing lefties. This year he is batting 407 this year against lefties. And that is in 113 at-bats, so it's not a small sample size either. 113 at-bats, he's batting 407 with 9 home runs during that stretch against lefties. Just so much power with him. 310 ISO, just a 12% strikeout rate, a 190 WRC plus. So good against lefties, 49.5% hard hit rate. I love Albies here, even though he's expensive. And then at shortstop, I like Corey Seager. Seager is nicely priced at 4,100. Just showed you how bad Hernandez is against lefties. Seager is good against righties. He definitely has power, although he hasn't really shown it a lot this year. But against righties, he's always been good and solid for his career. And this year is not much of a difference. He's batting 285 against righties, 8 of his 9 home runs. I think he hit a home run yesterday, so probably 9 of his 10 home runs have come against righties. He's been better on the road, even though it's not much of a ballpark upgrade. It's a ballpark downgrade here. But he does have some power at 222 ISO against righties, just a 15.7% strikeout rate, 42% fly ball rate, and a 40% hard hit rate for Seager. I definitely love him at this price tag. And then we're going to get a couple of the best outfield hitters in baseball. Going with Ronald Acuna, started off with him. 5,700. Acuna has been so good and so hot as of late. So many home runs for him recently. And he's just hitting everything. He's always been good against lefties for the 2 years that he's played, this year and last year. Against lefties this season, he's batting 301. He has 9 home runs against lefties. In August so far, he is been one of the best hitters in baseball, a 367 average with 8 home runs already through the first 11 games. A 301 ISO against lefties, a 151 WRC plus, 47% hard hit rate. So good. Such good numbers for Acuna. Think that can continue. Think those numbers can rise after tomorrow's games. And then Cody Bellinger, 5,500. Can't go wrong here. Acuna and Bellinger both have the ability to break the slate today. Both are so good. A couple of the best hitters in baseball. Bellinger just mashes righties, and his power can go out in any ballpark. This year against righties, he's batting 324. He has 25 home runs against righties. So much power. 353 ISO, 174 WRC plus. And he's been pretty consistent the whole season. He's been struggling a little bit as of late, but he's still hitting a bunch of home runs. 7 home runs in June, 7 in July. It's 4 so far in August. So even the batting average has come down a little bit. That's was to be expected. You didn't expect him to hit like 370 the whole year. But he has a 50% hard hit rate to both sides of the plate. And just gets a really good matchup here against Hernandez. So that's what I like. Going with some of the best power hitters in baseball with Acuna and Bellinger. And going with Albies, who crushes lefties. And Seager is very cheap, and he's always been good against righties. Going with Gonzalez and Hudson as my pitchers. Both definitely have some upside. And you have 3,700 left to fill it out. If you're looking at the Mariners, I'll talk about some of my favorites on this team. I think Malik Smith gives you that stolen base upside. I like him. I like Santana at 4,400. Crawford as a cheap shortstop. I think you can't go wrong with him. And then Kyle Seager's probably going to get a ton of ownership after a 3-home run game. I think that might be a good reason to fade him if you want. And probably Vogelbach is fine. I think I probably won't be super high on the Mariners just because they probably will be the top stack. But in in cash, you can definitely stack them up. But in GPPs, if you want to be different, you can look at like the Dodgers and the Braves. Both offenses are much better than the Mariners, and they are both in good spots. And besides those 3 teams, I'm not going to be super heavily interested in targeting against pitchers in this game. I respect Brad Keller, and I respect Hudson a little bit, especially facing a righty-heavy team. Here, maybe you could look at some Angels against Archer. He's definitely going to give up a home run or 2. We're not getting a huge discount on that many guys, except Upton is pretty cheap at just 3,800, and Fletcher. Those are a couple of cheap plays, and you can always pay up for Trout. And that's kind of it, because I'm not going to be targeting that much offense in the Philly game either. So that's what I like for this slate. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.